everywhere.
The people keep on crying.
The people just keep on crying.
It's not fair. And we go with some, all the big people, some, all the roadside houses,
The big sea divide us. The big sea confuse us. The big sea divide us. It's so wrong.
And it's growing
Everywhere.
Oh yes,
Everywhere. The big sea is corruption. The big sea is spreading everywhere. The big sea is corruption. It's killing you.
I eat some, you eat some. All the big people, they eat some. I eat some, you eat some. All the roadside houses, they eat some. Poverty and hunger,
You're dead.
maternal newborn mortality,
Dead.
child abuse and trafficking,
You're dead.
violence against women and rape,
You're dead.
light and water, sanitation, health and education, jobs and employment, equal rights and justice, truth and honesty, peace and harmony, nationalism, patriotism,
The big sea is corruption. The big sea is spreading everywhere. The big sea is corruption. It's killing you.
I eat some, you eat some. All the big people, they eat some. I eat some, you eat some. All the roadside houses, they eat some. Some, you eat some. All the big people, they eat some. I eat some, you eat some. All the roadside houses, they eat some.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Tony Commander Glapohkpa Chesson talk show. Today, I'm at Kebe's African restaurant on the other side of Providence. And she is right here, Please introduce yourself.
My name is Kebe McCann.
Now, Kebe has been here for a while, and this is one of our Liberian restaurants. So, Kebe, tell us how long you've been in this spot and why you decided to get into business.
I've been in this spot for 14 years now. I decided to open this restaurant because of helping people, going out and feeding the homeless, and we need a place where the food be cooked. And I opened this restaurant. Since then, I'm still at the same place, 850 Admiral Street.
So how has the community responded to your effort?
Well, the community has responded greatly to my efforts. I do successful feed the homeless, and people have embraced the business, and it led me to move forward to Liberia to open an orphanage for children in Liberia.
Wow, you have an
All
orphanage?
from this restaurant.
You're kidding me.
And because of the customer has been very nice to me and loyal to me, I was able to go to Liberia 3 weeks ago and open an orphanage in my late mother's name, Eugenia Bright,
Wow. Where is the orphanage?
in New Georgia, Monrovia, Liberia.
Wow. So what message do you have for your customers?
Well, my customers are very loyal to me, and they are very faithful. They always help me when we're doing the backpack giveaway for children every year, which will soon be coming down end of the month. And then we give the food away, the turkey and chicken in November. And because of the customer, all the tips they leave and all the encouragement help me to promote this business and do what I'm doing moving forward. So I love my customers, I love my neighbors, and I love everybody in general.
We thank you very much for your efforts.
Thank you, and God bless you too.
Thank you too. Let the people see the delicious food you're fixing
Okay,
here.
go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
I would waste it all for you.
Good morning and welcome to Tune Commander J.R. Glapohkpa Chesson Talk Show. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Waking up to 59 degrees in Providence, Rhode Island. It may go up to mid-70s or a little higher. Whatever it is, enjoy it while you got it. Okay? This morning we take a few seconds of silence to extend our condolences to the royal family of the United Kingdom on the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. Now, Queen Elizabeth II visited Liberia. She is the longest reigning monarch, if not one of the longest reigning. And she must have visited so many countries in the world. Because I remember when she came to Liberia, I was a kid, man. I was like about 10, 11 years old. And Tubman invited her Tubman came to England and impressed the Queen so much with his pleasantries and knowledge of the royal display, honoring the Queen and all the gestures and things that Tubman displayed himself when he came to London. Oh man, the man went down, all his little British thing he did there. He impressed the Queen so much. She said, I'm coming to Liberia. I'm coming to visit your country. And you wouldn't believe it. When the Queen Elizabeth was coming to Liberia, I remember so well. I was small, man. And Tubman had our fire truck out there. I think we had 1 or 2 fire trucks. They never had water. Anytime there was fire, they would come and no water. They got to go look for water. But the Queen were coming, they had water. They washed all the streets in Monrovia. I remember our own Camp Johnson Road, and the truck was passing, washing the street. All I had to run from the water because they didn't care whether you were sending at night or just keep spraying, move all the dirt from all the street, washed it down. And that's the only time I ever saw them wash the streets of Monrovia. So the Queen Elizabeth came and she left. So that's my memory of Queen Elizabeth and her legacy of ruling the United Kingdom, have visited Liberia, extended the judgment to come and visit his country. So she was very impressed with him. And we lost our queen yesterday. And now her son is now King Charles. We don't know. I didn't listen to what it was, fight second, third, fourth, fifth. He got to be some number because they've had Charles before. So we see where he's standing on this note. But anyway, that's it. Our queen has passed. There will be days of mourning. I think 10 days or more. Her body would be flown. Would be taken from, I don't know, would be flown or taken by a coach or train. I don't know what it would be. I heard it, but I can't remember what it was. But she's going to have 10 days of state mourning. Right now, she at her summer house or wherever it is. So they're going to take her from there and take her to London, where all of this will go on. So my condolences to the family again, and especially to our young brother there, the prince, who just married our African-American sister. My brother, take care. Okay, more power to you. Okay, my topics for the day are, let them come around. Now that the light, Senator Darius Dillon, is dim, where do his loyalists turn? 2, when Liberians are patriots, we see only what is in Liberia's best interests. So let me take a coffee break. Let's see one of my ads, and I'll be back. How long has this business been in operation?
We've been in business for about 5 years now.
How has the cooperation of the community been?
It's been pretty much supportive, not just Africans, but also our brothers and sisters of the African American community also been supportive, as well as other African and even other nationalities. So far, so good. We've been having a lot of support from different ethnic groups and different nationalities.
Now that the light, Darius Dillon, is dim, where do his loyalists turn? That's a good question. You see, I was never really a Darius Dillon loyalist. I liked his idea, his personality when he offered himself to run for the position of senator. His attitude, his behavior, everything brought a fresh relief to us who are looking for some leadership for our country. So many have forgot about his past dealings with Ellen Johnson, Sullivan, and all of that. And we look to him to lead us into the light. So my first problem came with him also, which I heard Lofa Julius talk about, another talk show host talk about, because he supported Darius Dillon financially, spiritually, every kind of way to become the senator he is today. So after he won, people begin to raise the question about how much does he raise? Because the whole Liberia supported this guy, man. If you remember a year ago, a year and a half ago, when Darius Dillon was running for position, people were coming up to him and just giving him money. People were throwing this money at the guy, man. Darius Dillon got so much money that today we don't know how much this guy got. And that was the first sign of corruption, in my view. He received all this money. He never accounted to us of how much he received. Neither did he thank the people officially, because you tell the people how much you receive and thank them. Even if you don't give the exact amount, say, look, I received a few $100,000, a few $1,000, and I want to thank the people who donated it to me. The whole of Liberia supported this guy, man. It was unbelievable. People were coming up to him, giving him money. The poor people, the rich people, everybody from America, from Canada, from Israel, everyone was sending money to this guy. That today we don't know how much Darius Dillon raised. So that was the first point of dishonesty to me. When you receive all this money, it has tax implication. It has financial implication to our country. When you receive all this money, we want to know what you receive, because you got to report it. It has tax implication. It has election laws implications. That's why our country is so corrupt, because we have nothing in place, man. We have no withholding tax operation in place. From the time I worked at the Ministry of Finance in the 1980s, I remember when I worked there, and I told you time and time again, what really got to me was I was working at the Finance Ministry as Director of National ID Card in the 1980s. My good friend, Richard Wilson, my brother almost, who was the best DJ in Liberia at that time. He was the most exciting, the most just bad. He was good. Everybody loved Raw, R-A-W. When Raw died, his funeral was like a precedent. Unbelievable. And I was so blessed to have had a dream about the guy's death, man. And made the guy talk about his death. I had gone to the guy's house that morning. He was sleeping. I woke him up. I said, Rob, get up. He got up. He said, oh, man, Chesson, you always bother me, man. Then when he opened the door, I came in. He said, I just dreamed about you. I said, man, what you just dreamed about me? You were high again? He said, no, man, I just dreamed you and I were going somewhere, and you were in front of me with my father's hat. And I said, man, Rob, what kind of dream is that, man? You smoke your stuff, man. Get away from here, man. So we just laughed, and we ate and talked. And that was Roy's death. He was telling me about. He dreamed about it. When he died, I came into his house. You know, we're all family. His brother-in-law was head of national security. So when I walked in the house, his brother-in-law came to me and said, Rodney, you take the security car and lead the procession to the grave. So I said, okay. He gave me the car. I said, okay. So I was in front, going to the grave. And when I got to the grave and got out of the car, I was ahead because I had a siren and everything. When I got to the grave, I had to get out to direct the people to where to go. So I got out. As soon as I got out of the car, the dream hit me. Oh, man, the tears just flowed down my eyes. I couldn't stop crying. I just stood there crying. His dream, he and I were going somewhere, and I had his father's hat on. That was the siren. I was going somewhere with him. I was taking him to the funeral home. And I had his father hat, which was the sign of authority, which was the siren. As soon as I got in the car, I saw the casket behind me. I saw everybody behind me. I saw Richard behind me. The dream just was revealed to me. I just started crying. I couldn't stop crying. Everybody was looking at me like, I was just crying naturally. It was natural, but it's just that the fact that he dreamed about his death and talked to me about it. And now I realized it. It was just unbelievable. But these things go back to the same thing we say about our country. It impacts everything in our society. How we live, how we communicate with each other, how we interact with each other. I remember I was listening to Glapohkpa Chesson, and he was talking about this lady who also supported Darius Dillon. And she is pissed. She is pissed. Because Darius Dillon, she was one of the people that joined Lofa Julius, and they supported this woman. They were up all night gathering news from Liberia and reporting it on the website and telling the people how much they were raising, how the people they need to support raising money in America. And all of that was going on while Darius Dillon was running. And this girl, it was on Lofa Julius' show, pissed. She was pissed that Darius Dillon, the man who's supposed to be the light for his loyalists, she called him her daddy. She said, my daddy, I didn't sleep for nights trying to get you into this office. And you let me down like this? What did they do, man? These people got together and wanted to pass a bill giving them money for serving one term in office and extended that money to their family after they die. The whole country kicked against it. I mean, this is blatant corruption. It put everything in a nutshell what we've been seeing about these people. How these people are just rogues. How you all get together and pass that bill? And Darius Dillon, who's been so open with us, coming to us and telling all these things, he never told us about this bill. That is, they were going to preserve money for themselves after they leave office. Because these people, they can't get no job. Darius Dillon didn't know nothing. All of them do know nothing. After they leave this office, they will need money. So they're trying to preserve for themselves the wealth of the Liberian people illegally by making bogus laws and things like that. Who does it hurt, my people? It hurts our future. It hurts our future. And just go to show further that we can't trust none of these people. We cannot trust any of the people that lead us. That's why I keep telling you all, my Liberian people, we are the keepers of our nation. We can't trust nobody. That's why it behooves us to strive and learn our constitution. Since we like politics, since we like getting involved in everything, let's learn it. Don't listen to other people. Take the Constitution and try to read it. That's why I have my show. I try to go to the nitty-gritty to teach you the background to all of these things. Yes, sometimes I get mad. Sometimes I get impatient. Sometimes I do get frustrated because you can't keep teaching people and they just dissing you, ignoring it, and they see the corruption, the inherent corruption going on in our society, killing our children. Our people calling me from Liberia, asking me for money, calling me from all over the world. But we see the corruption in our country that killing the very people that are calling me from Liberia. I got people in Liberia can't get housing, can't get nothing. People leaving their families, dividing their families, sending them wife to the pa, the children to the cousin, all of that to survive because they cannot feed people in Liberia. And this is not what our revolution was about. Come on, my people. Come on, my people. This is not what our revolution was about. This is not what all this is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about raising the consciousness of our people, raising the standard of living our people. Turbo King, he wanted to bring us from mat to mattresses. We still haven't achieved that yet. We have not, our people have not moved from mat to mattresses yet. Our people still living on the mat. And now with all this flooding, where do you think they're living, man? Most of our people are living on the ground, sleeping on the floor and things like that. Now we got all this nasty flooding coming into people's homes. Where do you think they would sleep at? Where do you think they would sleep? You know what I mean? That's just the humanity aspect of what the corruption, the evil that these people perpetrating against our society. You know, and some of them won't talk, but they say, oh, your pa did it, you enjoy, you did it. So that it has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. I'm ready to punish my own cousin them and relative them that's stealing too. Because we cannot dwell on the ills of the past when it's still continuing today. How can we point finger to people in the past? That's supposed to be the past. It's not supposed to be happening today. When we point fingers to the past, those are things that we have overcome. But instead of that, we are pointing finger to the past to justify the evils that we're doing today, which is worse. Because when we continue to turn to the past and say, they did it, and we ignore the fact that it's happening right before our very eyes, and we're condoning it, it's not right. Look at our university students. Let me show you them. Because I got them here. Let me show you them. These students are protesting because all the money that these people are stealing, our students could be going to school, getting some of the best education in our country. They talk about free education. Last year, nothing has been done to implement free education in our country. Nothing. All these criminals got schools. My people, does it make sense to you? We want free education for our children, but yet all the government officials got their own private school and charging more money than the public schools, than our government schools. Does it make sense to you, man? How can we back these kind of people? How can we support these kind of people, man? It's not right. It's not fair, man. It's not right. You know, my school in Ghana there, the Patriots Chesson School, that's through the efforts of people understanding the need to come to the help of our people on the Buddha camp. Because these people are productive citizens of whichever society they live in. But they don't need or lift up or hand down or whatever it is. They don't need handouts. They need a hand up. Pull them up. Let them know that they got abilities. That if they utilize their abilities, they can do great things. And this is the same deal. It's not only on the Buddha camp. This is the same philosophy that is needed in our country. It's needed in our country. To change our philosophy, people talking about, I heard people talking about, yeah, let's talk about God. God is not responsible for this. God didn't like this. God does everything. Let's get the thing. Let's be factual on that. We are a God-fearing and a God-loving people because God hands in everything. But that don't mean we should be stupid and gullible. God gave us choices. All of us, He gave us choices. You can be good or you can be bad. You can be productive or you can be lazy. You can move forward or you can stay where you are and move backward. Because when you stagnant, you're moving backward because everything moving forward and you just there, so you just in the backward state. We have choices. God doesn't control our lives every day. No, He gives us choices. And the choices we make makes Him gravitate towards us or away from us. We got choices. God is a God of choice. He doesn't pin us down with authoritative rules and dictatorship laws. And no, We punish ourselves because he laid the law down for us. The law is the 10 Commandments. But the 10 Commandments, he broke it down to make it easier for us because sometimes the 10 Commandments can be too burdensome for you to learn 10 Commandments and memorize it all the time. If you do it from childhood all through your life, you do it, because even now, I fight with memorizing the 10 Commandments. And I'm a Catholic. But I'm an old man. I got excuse. You got excuse? I'm an old man, I'm a papi. So the papi don't forget. So Jesus broke it down to just 2 laws for us. One, the one you can't forget, love God. That's out of the question. You got to love God. That was the second law. Love your friend as you love yourself. Love your neighbor because your neighbor is your friend. Many are friendly with our neighbors because we depend on our neighbors to protect our homes, to protect our children, to protect, just being friendly with each other and protecting each other. General protection. So that we will depend on our neighbors. So Jesus is saying, do unto your neighbors as you want them to do unto you. You don't want to bother the man's family, you will not bother his family. You don't want the man hurt you, don't hurt the man. So that's the most simple law. And if Christians cannot abide by those 2 laws, because everybody get judged on their own. Nobody go into detail about your judgment. There are many things, there are many sins, there are many forgivenesses. We don't deal with all of that, but we just deal with the 2 basic laws that Jesus himself passed down to us. So as Christians, we know we have responsibilities, because when you believe in God, that is the foundation for good leadership, for honest leadership, for fair leadership. All of that encompasses the leadership discipline, direction, punishment. All of that fall within believing in God, setting the foundation of good leadership. Because with good leadership, under the law, you can't just selectively punish people. You can't just punish one group of people and not another. So all of that brings in the Christian factor of fairness and honesty. So even if you, as a natural person, you're not that fair, but if you're a believing Christian, you got to be fair. You got to be honest. You got to strive to be that way, because your blessings depend on all of that. Okay, so we're looking at the core of human nature. So when we say we are Christians, we look at the core of our nature. We are honest, we are fair, we strive to do the right thing so that we can be blessed to go to heaven. That's all it's about. So over in that, when we apply that to serving our country and implementing our laws, we have to know that those things are sacrosanct. Sacrosanct. That means they are sacred to God. They are holy. Just as God's laws are holy, human laws are holy, because Jesus tells us wherever we tighten on earth will be tightened in heaven. That's his law to the Catholic Church. He told Peter them, wherever laws you're tightened in the church, it will be tightened in heaven. Wherever laws you're loosened, it will be loosened in heaven. So that just tells us that our laws are not only just laws that man make, secular laws. They have divine implication as well. Because those laws are laws that are made by individuals who are elected for the people, who take oath to serve for the people. Once you take an oath, you perpetuate the idea of Christian belief in honesty, in fairness, in direction, good direction and leadership. So that's why we take oath. So our oath, if our oath, the oaths we take for office to say, I swear this and I swear that, if they were not important, why would we take oath? We might just scrap it off. But because each and every one of us have our own individual personalities, we have to take oath to say, look, we'll not let our personalities, our personal ideals or beliefs, our personal thinking override the laws that govern the office that we lead. Because that means I can't take my personal hatred for you off and put it against your people. I can't say, oh, no, this man is a white man. The people did this to me, so I will hate all white people. You can't do that. Those are the things you take oath to guide against. To say, I believe in God. I will take this oath under my Christian principle. That way, when you're Christian, you take your oath on the Christian Bible. You're Muslim, you take your oath on the Quran. You know, the atheists can take the oath on anything. They can take their oath on the sun and moon. And so we don't know about atheists, but we know that majority of our people who believe in Jesus Christ or Christianity or Islam, they take the oath on the book that they believe in. So that it's another signifying example of how religion plays a significant part in our lives, whether we want to accept it or not. So we can't say, oh, the Liberian people, everything they talk about Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Yes, we talk about Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Some of it is misguided because we got too many false churches in Liberia today. People look at religion in Liberia as a money-making institution because of the poverty in our country. The people are poor. And they find out that people will gravitate towards faith and give pastors money and treat them with respect and feed them and do everything for them when they wear the neck cross and say they're pastors. So everybody gravitate towards being pastors to get things free. Even if you don't get money, you can get food. People will feed you. People will do things to help you gratify your life. So people gravitate towards that. And it's the same thing that happened in the Bible. Jesus gives us examples of every one of these things that are political in the Bible. One, he told us, separate church from state. You know, what render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar. So he's telling us we must pay taxes. We cannot refuse to pay taxes. We cannot refuse to follow the law. We cannot refuse because they brought him the money. That's when he was beating the money changers. And they asked him, you know, about the money in church. So he brought it to coin, he turned around, he said, you see who face on the thing? Caesar's. So render unto Caesar the things that are Caesar's. But the things that are God, you cannot mix it with things that are Caesar. You separate it. So from Jesus came the ideal of separating state from church, separating politics from church. So the only time church come into play when we take oath, our oaths of office, to ensure that we behave as faithful people in the God that tell us to treat other people the same way, to be honest. The same thing with the Islamic Quran. It doesn't teach people anything contrary to the Christian teachings. It's just that they do it in a different way. But all of that leads to the same faithful belief in one God, whichever God it is. I don't choose. I just tell you people, I'm just educating you people. So that's where it is. And that's where our faith belongs. So I've been too long on this topic. So let me take a break, do an ad, then I start my second topic, which is closely relative to the same topic, because everything we do in our country depends on our ideas of Christian faith and love. Let me run this video so you can see how everything in our country, our people do, affect every aspect of our country. Now they're stealing this money. The university children piss off. Because if we got all this money to give people pension for their children and their children's children, what happened to our other children that are not working for the government? That are people not working for the government, that supporting these people and putting them in power. So you mean these people will take our money for the children and neglect the education of the Republic of Liberia and the Liberian people? They promise free education. There's no free education. So the students want it in law. This is just a peek of what's happening. I'm not going the whole thing. I just want you to see what's happening with things. How they fight against. They're making our country unstable every day. They're making our children need to protest for the rights, because if they don't, they will lose everything they got. This is the status quo in Liberia every day now. People got to protest. Now they guarantee you that these students didn't get no permission from the Justice Department to do this. Because our whole process of obtaining permission to protest broke down when the students. Yeah, we're here and talking about it.
At the grants of the legislature and the students, that's the Progressive Students Alliance. They are here to petition the government, that's the legislature, this part of government, the legislature, for the putting the law of free tuition at the University of Liberia. It's amended now, but it's not legal. It's not banned.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Commander J.R. Glapohkpa Chesson. I'm on Broad Street this morning at the Island Restaurant. It's a Jamaican-owned restaurant that has been here in Providence for a little while, I think. But before me, I have the proprietor. Good morning, sir. Could you tell us your name and how long this restaurant has been here?
I'm Ricky. We've been here over 5-6 years. Me and my wife. We started out a Jamaican restaurant, Caribbean. We're in front of 3 high schools, and we did burgers and fries, and that's now one of the most popular items here, like burgers and fries. So all the kids from the high school, they come here after school for lunch and then after school. So this place is packed during the day with kids.
So you get a lot of support for the community.
Yeah.
Well, I want to wish you the best, and we'll spread your news about this restaurant further, so probably your clientele will increase.
Thank you for that.
Nice meeting you, Ricky.
Thank you.
And have a good day.
You too.
Okay, this was the University of Liberian students again, after they heard of this bill of the legislature of Liberia wanting to give themselves money, 20-30% of their salaries after they leave office for them and their families for time immemorial. Can you believe this? And the light, Darius Dillon signed on to it too. But Patriots, when we understand our duties to our country, to our families and to our people, we know that the interests of Liberia and Liberian people come before anything else when it comes to the governance, the direction and leadership of our country. So where does all this stealing come from? Where does all this dishonesty and corruption come from? Look, man, the dishonesty is just too much. We're dealing with foreigners. We're lying to the foreigners, trying to steal their money. Making laws with one company and making laws with another company, including the same items in both contracts. What kind of leadership is that? That's all right stealing. Our leadership in our country has no boundaries. They steal from us and they steal from foreigners. So how the foreigners steal in our country now? When our leadership has no boundary when it comes to stealing. I mean, look at if you put this thing in the legislative bill that will give you money that you don't deserve. You serve one term and you leave. Why we gotta give you money for that? Why we gotta give you money for that? Then how we run our country? For every one of these criminals come into our government, man, they just try to steal. And it's true. All these people leave offices. They can't do nothing. They have no professions. Darius Dillon he didn't even finish University of Liberia. He's just a dropout too. All these guys are dropouts. Some of them never went to school. So they're trying to steal our money to secure their future. So when they leave, they can still enjoy their money from government that they be getting. Can you imagine this? Still, no our schools, no schools, no high school, the free education, George, we are promised a year ago. That was the children demonstrating for. They want to pass into law. Because you say it was going to be done into law in 2 weeks after you passed the law last year. It is 1 year now, and that law has not even been looked at. And all the other laws giving these people money are being passed. So how the laws giving these people 30,000, 60,000, we're getting our money back, my people. This is illegal money. We, as a Liberian people, we cannot sit down and let these people take our $30,000 2, 3 times and use it for the personal businesses, and we think, and they think they will get away with it. They can't get away with it. So all these 30,000 these people been taking, we're going after it. When this government move, we go. That's why we got to get rid of this government. Enough is enough. Enough is enough, people. 6 years of George Weah mess and stealing and corruption is enough. Now we got to go after some of this money. For Ellen Johnson said it too. We're not leaving her out. And all the people that want to serve in our government still, Ben and I, you and all of them, we're going after y'all. We're coming after you. Y'all got to give us our money back. You have stole, and not enough. You still will come back to steal? No, it's not. No, we can't take it. But we need the leadership in our country that will afford us the opportunity to go after these criminals to get our rights in the place. Because our rights, the people traveling on. They're taking our taxes, our money, our wealth for themselves. I mean, the people are so bad. We don't even have schools. They take all our schools, the wealth of our country, and build schools in their own names. Look at Prince George got Polytechnic University in Nema County. What this criminal and murderer get the right to own a name of school after himself? How can we betray our country, our people like this, man? No, man, you got to do right, man. Too many people died before the war. Too many people gave their lives, even for the war to come about. That's why the war came about, because people died needlessly. And we're trampling on these people now by giving these murderers and criminals what they want. It's not right. It's not right. I mean, and the corruption and stealing going so bad that these guys just making laws and putting our money in the laws. The $30,000. All the money they're making, all the laws they're making, they're putting money in it for themselves, leaving the masses of our people out. And this should be the epitome of stealing in our country. It can't go no higher. We should rise up and demand that these people give us every penny back. We should rise up and demand that all the schools these people own be turned over to the education ministry and renamed as public schools. These government officials can't keep our schools. They can't steal from us and go build private schools. That's why we need the right leadership of choice to come in and straighten out our country. But the way our country is so debacle and broken down and messed up, we can't follow the Constitution. We got to suspend it. We got to have a Constitution committee set up to review our constitution, all the money these people making, ain't gonna happen no more. We gotta set our constitution up according to the way we want our country to be run. And we gotta start running it the way we want to do it. Training our whole society to follow laws and order, to stand in line, to be honest, to be fair. 5 years, I can change Liberia. I believe in God. I believe that He's the foundation in everything we do. But He gives us the power to do it right. He will not come down to do it us. He just gave us the divine blessings to know that whatever we do, we have to do it right. We have to do it good. We have to do it with the mind of our children in place for their future. Everything we do for their future. Because if we mess it up, their future will be messed up just like our future is messed up now. So we got to straighten it up. And to straighten it up, we need no law. We need no government. Give me it for 5 years. You know, could go, you could go. We straighten up our country. We get our money back. I told you, the first thing I do is get our $20 million for Ellen Johnson Sally for the mess her son did, and Nokia stole our money, and she says she's responsible for it. Hey, you responsible for it? I'm coming to collect it. I'm coming to collect it. Everybody else scared? You think I'm scared? I'm coming to collect it plus the interest. So that our 10 million right now about 20 million. And you better pay that damn money if you don't want to go to jail. Because I would not hesitate to put criminals in jail. I would not hesitate. The time of the Liberian people is now. My class is done. My class is done. We have seen the epitome of betrayal of the Liberian people. We are seeing that these people in our legislature are criminals, and they all are damned by Jesus Christ and should be in jail and flogged. And if y'all give me the opportunity, the wrath of Jesus Christ will be upon them. I promise you. I promise you. And I will take my oath on that. I'm a correctional officer. I'm a soldier. I'm a lawyer. I ain't gonna shake. I will flog the hell out of them. Aluta! Continue. My class is done. Have a good day, my people. Let's check it out before I leave. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Tony Commander, Glapohkpa Chesson. This morning, I'm in Seacom on Thornton Avenue at Sarcastic Suites. I'm here with the proprietor. Ma'am, could you introduce yourself to us and tell us how long you've been here?
So, my name is Nina Reed. I'm from Anchorage, Alaska, but I've had the store here in Rhode Island. I had it based in Rhode Island for 10 years, where I had my food truck, and this is our first year in Seacom, Massachusetts. So we've been here for a full year as of August 19th.
So tell us about Sarcastic Suites.
So, what to tell you about Sarcastic Suites? We started out as a food truck. We do custom orders, cakes, weddings, pickups, deliveries, birthday parties, colleges, fundraisers, churches, which is very important to me. We do all of those types of events, but then we were finally able to get a store through a lot of savings and fundraising and things like that here in Seacon, Massachusetts. So we still service Rhode Island quite a bit, but we also service a lot of Massachusetts. And we have the bakery portion, which is Sarcastic Sweets, and the Alaska Treehouse portion of things, which is the breakfast, lunch, smoothies, cafe portion of things. So you can come in and do your work like an internet cafe, or you can have breakfast with your family, or lunch. We do breakfast all day, because in Alaska you can have breakfast any time of the day. Any time of the day could be breakfast. Pastries, movie, special orders.
This is fantastic.